No matter what you may think of Rick Warren's opinion on things, he's an extraordinary guy, and always a great guest, and always good to have him. He's pastor of the Saddleback Church. He's the #1 New York Times best-selling author of The Purpose-Driven Life. He delivered the invocation at Barack Obama's inauguration. He comes to us from Irvine, California. How did you handle all the controversy that resulted about the president selecting you?
Yeah. You know, Larry, there was a story within a story that never got told. In the first place, I am not an anti-gay or anti-gay marriage activist. Never have been, never will be. During the whole Proposition 8 thing, I never once went to a meeting, never once issued a statement, never once even gave an endorsement in the 2 years Prop 8 was going. Now, let me just say this really clearly. We support Proposition 8. And if you believe what the Bible says about marriage, you need to support Proposition 8. I never support a candidate, but on moral issues, I come out very clear. The week before the vote, somebody in my church said, "Pastor Rick, what do you think about this?" And I sent a note to my own members that said, I actually believe that marriage really should be defined, that definition should be saved between a man and a woman. And then all of a sudden out of it, they made me, something that I really wasn't. And I actually, there were a number of things that were put out. I wrote to all my gay friends, the leaders that I knew, and actually apologized to them. That never got out. There were some things said that, everybody should have 10% grace when they say public statements. And I was asked a question that made it sound like I equated gay marriage with pedophilia or incest, which I absolutely do not believe. But the issue to me is I'm not opposed to that as much as I'm opposed to the redefinition of a 5,000-year definition of marriage. I'm opposed to having a brother and sister be together and call that marriage. I'm opposed to an older guy marrying a child and calling that a marriage. I'm opposed to one guy having multiple wives and calling that marriage.
Do you think those are equivalent to gays getting married?
Oh, I do. I just...
All right. Do you therefore criticize or not comment on the Iowa court decision to permit gay marriage?
Yeah, I'm totally oblivious to what's that. That's not even my agenda. I just say, for 5,000 years, marriage has been defined by every single culture and every single religion. This is not a Christian issue. Buddhist, Muslims, Jews, historically, marriage is a man and a woman. And so I'm opposed to that. Now, another question that you wrote me this week that I want to respond to in the Saddleback News and Views is you say, Rick, what about these hateful attacks? When you refuse to side with either extreme, you're going to get attacked. And the only way to not be attacked is to do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. And a lot of you have written to me this week and said, Rick, how are you going to respond to all these, these false accusations and attacks, outright lies and hateful slander, and really a lot of hate speech? It's what I would call Christophobia, people who are afraid of any Christian. Well, you know how I'm going to respond. You already know the answer, because we're going to respond the same way that we have responded to every single unfair attack over 30 years. We have no intention of changing. I am not an anti-gay or anti-gay marriage activist. Never have been, never will. Now, let me just say this really clearly. We support Proposition 8. And if you believe what the Bible says about marriage, you need to support Proposition 8. I am not an anti-gay or anti-gay marriage activist. Never have been, never will be. During the whole Proposition 8 thing, I never once went to a meeting, never once issued a statement, never once even gave an endorsement in the 2 years Prop 8 was going. Now, let me just say this really clearly. We support Proposition 8. And if you believe what the Bible says about marriage, you need to support Proposition 8. I never support a candidate, but on moral issues, I come out very clear.